Woo! Look what's in the shop. Look at what the detailers have just finished ceramic coating and doing a PPF job on. This tank has been PPF'd so that guy can ride and destroy this bike and it won't scratch a thing. This is the M1000RR, not the S1000. Bike's out of control. On today's episode of Watch JR Go, what's the best way to waste $1,000? I've got it for you. What is going on, guys? I am Watch JR Go, and today I am here in the shop with Scott, one of the detail dude. And today we're gonna unload my newest waste of $1,000.
I mean,
okay, obviously it wasn't a waste. It was like the best use of $1,000.
I agree.
Yep.
It'll be fun.
I bought a GRC Kart, and this is a real race kart that somebody has, I'm sure what happened is they stopped racing this professionally and pulled the 125 off with the water cooling, and they threw on a Harbor Freight Predator. And it's fun. So let's get it unloaded and check it out. Go, 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 go. And, oh, that box is in the way.
Yep.
Oops.
No longer in the way.
Down. All right.
Much larger than I expected.
It is, dude. This is a full-size race car. It came with an extra wheel and tire, and it was a shifter cart as well. There's the shifter and a chain and sprockets and a straight pipe, which is, dude, the straight pipe is not cool at all. No. The straight pipe immediately came off because they gave me the real, the Predator muffler. So, I mean, within one lap of the neighborhood, I was like, give me the ratchet.
Yeah, those straight pipes are a little unruly.
Horrible. Oh, it's so stuck! The tires went flat after sitting for just 3 days. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this thing forward, and then Scott and I are gonna grab on it and get it back on the ground where it belongs. Air up the tires and fire this beast up. Now, obviously, most people are very familiar with this engine. This is the Harbor Freight Predator. It goes on most go-karts, 212cc. If you've been racing karts, you know rental karts well. Usually they run like the 200cc Honda. This thing costs like half the money and is sometimes even more reliable than the Hondas. So, this is a great engine. We all know that. There's really no debate that the Predator is awesome. So let's start it up. All right, Scott, start me up. It should fire right up, and I'll add a little bit of throttle, and then I'm gonna rip a couple donuts and get soaked real quick. I think, also this seat does not fit me in any way. Hold on, I gotta breathe first before I get in.
It is kind of snug.
I can't breathe once I get in it. It's the carbon tilted seat, and it's not my size. Okay, oh. I'm stuck. All right. And now after ripping some epic donuts, you're probably thinking, wow, that was a pretty good deal. How crazy, it works so well. No, it doesn't. We're here to change the game. Today we have Harbor Freight's newest engine, their complete go-kart race engine. It's called the Ghost. So the Ghost is going to eat the Predator. Let's get this thing open. Just showed up today. A box of delicious goodness. And here's the deal with karting, right? This is a real race kart. The CRG, it's like a $10,000 frame with a 125 on it with the water-cooled setup. You can see it used to be a shifter kart with water cooling and all that. And if you still have the 125 used, it's about a $6,000 kart. I got a killer deal because it had been Predator converted. And the Predator is cheaper to run. You can replace it every season. 125s probably need torn down and rebuilt every season because they're out beating on them. This is just the setup. If you want to go racing and have some fun, and you don't have to spend all the money in the world. Karting has gotten crazy. I mean, $10,000 for that thing. And that's just what a normal, nice kart setup costs. And I mean, big engines can go even more expensive than that. This lets you go racing on a budget. And it's not bad. It's not, the budget doesn't equal bad in this case. Budget good. Okay, that's all I have to say about this. So, here we go. The Ghost! And the Ghost accessory kit. This lets me use the real go-kart fuel tank instead of having that gravity feed fuel tank on there, because this engine, that's like a normal, 3.5 horsepower style carb, a normal lawnmower carb. This has a Mikuni slide style carb. It's not really a Mikuni, but it's a real slide style carb. And this is the fuel pump that uses the exhaust pulses to actually pump fuel out of the tank. So I can have way more fuel on board. This thing's way faster. It's such a better engine. They're both 212 cc's. This one outperforms it in every way. Nothing but 5-star reviews across the board from everybody that has one of these, and I'm so pumped to have one of these. Let's get it open and start swapping it over. Are you guys ready to see the Ghost unboxed? I know I am. I haven't even seen one of these in person yet. I've only seen them on the internet. And everyone's like, look what I got! And I was so jelly. So look what I got! Here it is. The Ghost. Comes with a funnel so you can fill it with oil. Pretty cool. Yeah, baby. Gosh, this looks so cool. They put red on it. We all know red equals fast. Well, there you go. I think this thing's rated at 6.5 horsepower, and it has like a digital ignition. It's just leaps and bounds above the old lawnmower style engine. This is truly for racing. Even says right there, competition use only. The box also comes with a multi-tool there and a funnel so you can fill it with oil. So that is the Predator Ghost. Now, for the cool part, and I haven't seen enough people using this, but since this is a real race car and I need to use the real gas tank, I pretty much had to have this because we need a pump. So if I can get this thing open here, we're about to party. So here is the accessory kit. Check this out. So we've got the exhaust right there. A brace for the exhaust. Instructions, another exhaust gasket, fuel line, a fuel filter, a fuel pump, air filter, clamps for the exhaust it looks like, and the muffler. So this has a fire ring head gasket, and I mean honestly, they literally built the race engine that everybody wants. This should be the perfect blend of not having to run that straight pipe that I had, which is basically this, because it has a real muffler. So it could be straight piped, but I'm gonna run the muffler, obviously, so that we can get some drive around the neighborhood tone out of this thing. So we're installing the little output that you use for the fuel pump pulses. You literally just unscrew this oil cap here on the back of the crankcase. You're actually supposed to switch to this small O-ring here. So I'm putting that on here right now. How cool is this? Drop the fuel pump on, run the lines. Everything is already the right length, so it's just designed to be built. I know a lot of people are running the engine, but like get the performance kit. Look at that. I've also got the pulse in there. I don't think that's actually the exhaust. I think it may actually be a pump, like an air pump that does this pulsing, which is pretty cool. Like, what a sweet design. Oh, you can fill the oil on 2 sides of the crankcase. This is just out of control. So you run a little bit of tubing from there to there and put some clamps on it. So I'm gonna cut that and do it right now. You can see I've got the fuel pump hooked up to the pulse, so that's ready to go. We just have to hook the fuel lines up, one to the carb, one to the tank. And this is the original carburetor intake here. And you just kind of pull the carburetor off of that. In my case, everything's brand new, so I'm not gonna use any of these other gaskets because they're clearly exactly the same. And now I'm putting on the new elbow, puts the carburetor backwards instead of hanging out the side. And these were incredibly tight before, so I'm also going with the incredibly tight. Not like a big impact, just a wrench. And now I should be ready to put the carburetor on. 10 mils over here, an 8 and a 10 is basically this entire engine, which is also super nice. Do make sure you check the gasket and the carburetor to make sure you've got it all port matched correctly. They are different, and also if the gasket's flipped upside down, you'll cut your intake in half basically. So, you know, just check it all before you put the thing together. That's all you gotta do. These are our torque settings here. Tight.
The T-FAR method.
That's it. This cart's gonna be a straight up ghosting everybody. It was one thing when it was a Predator, but now it's just gonna ghost the rest of the track.
I wish I could get in there.
Dude, I can't even get in there, so
no chance I'm fitting. You said it was tight, I was willing to try.
I can't breathe when I get in this go-kart.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't be putting the exhaust on until the engine is on the cart, but I just want to do it, okay? So let me have my fun here. Putting the exhaust itself on real quick. And that has bolts that are just sitting there ready for you to use. And once you get those on, there's a support bracket with a bolt that's already loose. So you just kind of put that like that and throw the bolt in there. And then there's 2 worm clamps that need to be installed. Make sure you put these worm clamps on first because one goes past and one goes on the back. Scott's taking the engine mount bolts off of the Predator here, and we got the throttle cable off and unhooked. That's all technically out of the way there. So the engine mount bolts coming off right there, and there's 2 on the front, of course. And then we're gonna move the torque converter and we should be ready to install El Gusto. Well, those 4 nuts should have been the only thing holding this onto the cart, I hope. And it's kind of cooled off by now, so. Yes! Predator delete! Now we gotta figure out what it's gonna take to get the old CVT torque converter here off and onto the new setup. This is an adjustable bracket. How cool is that?
That's neat.
Yeah, you can move the studs to whatever you want for whatever engine config. That is impressive. I should have cleaned this up a little bit. I'm actually gonna wipe this off before we try the Ghost out. Well, you know what? All I wanted to do was see how the Ghost fits. Looks like it fits.
Yep, there we go.
Bang, bang. All right.
Actually looks tiny on there.
Dude, doesn't it? It looks so cool compared to the other one. And I can reach everything from my seat.
Yeah.
Let's move over the rest of this and put it back together. It turns out this is actually an amazingly easy job to do. It only took a couple of minutes here. I had to bend in this heat shield a little bit. You're gonna see on the other one, it's been beat in there with like a hammer until it was flush with the head. I wanted to keep some airflow, so ours ended up, it just kind of rides. So I think it's good there. The only thing that's unfortunate is we did have to lose the support for this exhaust. So it is gonna put a bunch of weight on there. We may have to find a way to support that later. But now we've got everything together. So all I'm doing now is reassembling the old CVT here. There's a flat side and an angled side for this guy. So make sure you put the belt on correctly. Flat side goes towards the flat side. It's very obvious how it goes together. And then line this up with the keyway on the crank that exists in here somewhere, right about here. And then there's an outer. Put that on, lock it in, put the bolt back in here, and you have moved the transmission. Back on the road. Let's mount this engine. We're coming off our non-go-kart stand. Okay. Let's see how this thing works. I am so pumped. So full choke, ignition on. There goes the fuel, it's coming in. Wow, it's gonna take a lot of pulling to get fuel. Oh, there we go, we're getting some fuel. Come on, fuel. Come on, fuel. Fuel pump. Any year now.
It's so close.
Come on. I'm tired. I should have known. We gotta fill that float bowl up. Oh, it tried, didn't it?
Yep.
I'm too old.
You can do it.
I can't fit in it anyway. Yes! Yes! All right, unfortunately we don't have a throttle. Oh, come on, stay running. Now the question quick. I was like, don't launch. All right, what we don't have here is a throttle cable, obviously. It needs a special throttle cable with a tiny little ferrule on the slide, but I think we need to go buy a throttle cable, string that in here, and then we're done. So I'll triple check that I can't use that one. If we could, it would be pretty sweet, but I think we're stuck for a minute. So we got everything done on the Predator, filled it up with some Motul. We've got 8100 Access in there because obviously it's a race cart. You gotta have the race oil. So we have the oil in this thing, which I'm excited about. And we did that first run in. And then I went on a hunt for a throttle cable. And let me tell you how hard it is to find a throttle cable. I went to the karting store here and they were like, we don't have that. We have one cable that can fit slide carburetors and it's only 35 inches long. And it's not really what I needed. So we bailed on that plan. And then I went to O'Reilly's and I searched their entire inventory by hand, every throttle cable, all of the prime line section, and they really didn't have anything there because those are all special order. Obviously, like not that many people need four-wheeler throttle cables, stuff that runs that tiny little slide carburetor. And then I searched all the car throttle cables, trying to find one with that ferrule on the end, the inverted barrel, the tiny little one like that. Nothing. So I came back here, head in my hands, and Casey and I built a new throttle cable. That's what happened. I took the old one that had way too big of a ferrule on it, and I've got my flap disc on the grinder, and I very carefully turned it down until it was the size of the old inverted barrel, and now it works. And it looks cool because it's red. Red means racing, as you guys know, so now we have a throttle cable, and we use the old ferrule here to crimp it back together where it needed to be, and I kept all of the extra in case I ever need to move it there, and throttle. So there's a throttle stop on here if I need to adjust it or anything like that. It's got throttle stops forward and back because it's a real race cart. Time to drive it. I had given up all hope. I didn't think we were driving this today, but we got it done.
YouTube machinist now.
Yeah, that's right. If you do need those throttle cables, buy them online before you get everything else because it's just easy that way. And they're way cheaper. The kart shop wanted $40, they're $8 on the old internet store.
Clear at the corner so you can
I need safety glasses. I tried to get it a couple times and mistakes were made. Wear safety glasses. That thing is a ripper. Did you see it just immediately blow the tires off? I was like, yes. All right, I'm gonna put on safety glasses and I'll take another hit. But oh man, is it insane. And it no longer dies when you're turning corners because it has a real fuel pump. Got to 45 right there.
Really?
Yeah, first hit basically, and that was uphill. So I feel like it must do 50 if I could get going downhill. I should put the draggy on it, honestly. I think it's really hard to manage the phone and driving, but it's fast. It just rips donuts, no problem. Yeah, give me a kick. Thank you. I don't know what, you're good. I don't know what she's waiting on here. Let's see if I can start it now. On. Well, if you're wondering if the Ghost is worth it, I cannot say enough how worth it is. This thing is incredible. It's a whole new kart. And that's pretty fast. I think we've got a lot more mile an hour in it if we have some downhill instead of making the thing do a climb. So I'm gonna take it out on the draggy, but I'm in love with it so far. And we haven't even adjusted the throttle stop. Like, I think I might just not be pulling on the carb hard enough. Maybe I should reach down and pull on the throttle and then see how fast we're going. So I'm gonna go try to do a little data logging and see just how fast the Ghost is. I'll be right back with you. I'm sure no one doubted the Ghost. The Predator is already amazing. Everyone uses that. But if you had any doubts, go pick one up today. Unbelievable. I think I picked up 10 mile an hour. So it was quick before, and I didn't really have any draggy times on it, but it was not going 50 before. And if you look at the draggy results right here, there's 1, there's 2. You can see in the 8th, we're doing 47 mile an hour. And at the big end, if you look at the chart, you can see I hit 49 to 50. And then by the quarter mile, I'm like on the brakes because I don't have enough road. I need a slightly bigger track, but that is unbelievable how fast this thing is. Take a look at those numbers. Anyway, that's the brand new Ghost. I think it's the only one in the city. I checked all 3 of our local Harbor Freights. No one had them. And then I went there, of course, to try to buy a throttle cable, and they said they've never had one yet. So that's why this one was FedExed in, and I'm super pumped that it's an absolute ripper. So that's it, a drop-in Go Play engine that does everything you want it to do right out of the box. Just figure out a plan for your throttle cable. Links to everything in the description below. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchgrgo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I will talk to you next time. They don't want us to win. Oh yeah, it's pretty, oh, it's not that deep. Anyway, it's raining non-stop here and they have the road completely blocked off. So as you can see, everyone with a truck is just going around it. Usually the water goes over this bridge and that's why they come block it. But right now it's absolutely fine.